Alright, what is going on, guys? The Valley of Austin here, and sorry, you're gonna have to excuse my outfit, but I'm here with Rocky today, and finally got done with my college semester, so yeah, I thought that, I should upload this video about how to off-road with QuadraTrac 1, as mentioned in the title, and it's probably why you clicked the video. So yeah, sorry, it's been a slow morning. Okay. Yeah, this might be really random on my channel, but I think I need to share how I off-road with Rocky. Of course, she's a QuadraTrac 1, 3.7 liter V6 Jeep WK. And I brought a little board with me today. Alright, I'm gonna put this on top of Rocky's head here. Hopefully y'all can see it. Perfect. You all can see it. Okay, so on this board, I have 6 different tips for how I personally off-road with QuadraTrac 1. I know there's 3 right now that you're seeing, but trust me, there's 3 more in the back. So. Okay, so let's go ahead and go with tip 1. So tip 1, for off-roading with QuadraTrac 1, you want to make sure that your gear is in first gear, because that is the most gear that you'll get with the most amount of torque for these 3.7 Jeep WKs. I think last time I checked it's 235 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. But it's not very much compared to having a 4-low option. But yeah, first gear, there's some benefits to having the first gear. So first of all, you're not going to downshift like crazy when you're off-roading. And I'm going to go ahead and show you a clip real quick. So yeah, just make sure that you put the tranny first gear. It'll prevent downshifting, it'll give you a lot more torque. Trust me, it's like night and day when you do that. And if you don't know how to do first gear, let me go ahead and show you a quick tutorial real quick. Okay, so how you go to first gear is that, well, first off, I just barely turned Rocky on. This is park, reverse, neutral, drive. So I'm gonna go ahead and go here. I'm going to shift to drive. Alright, so next what you want to do, you see that that's in drive. That's in drive. Okay, now I'm going to shift this lever to the negative until I see the number 1 on my screen. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's first gear. I'm sorry. It's the morning. I just woke up and I'm making this video flip. Okay, so that's first gear, guys. You're going to get the most amount of torque. You're not going to have any downshifting when off-roading. It's just going to be perfect. Trust me. It's night and day. It's night and day. So now I'm going to just go back and park. Let's go ahead and talk about our tips again. So yeah, basically, if you already know how to use the Jeep electronic, Tiptronic, whatever you call it, then you basically know how to already shift in first gear. So just leave it like that. You're gonna get a lot more torque. You're gonna get a lot more momentum. It's gonna help you a lot off-road, night and day. Trust me. Tip number 2. This is a very important tip, by the way. Very important. Okay, so tip 2 out of my 6 tips I have for QuadraTrac 1 off-roading. Do not let the vehicle slip backwards and drive. That is super important. If you want to preserve your transmission, please just follow that tip with all your might, because if you don't, your transmission is going to break prematurely. So basically, what I encountered when off-roading back in Billmore Lake was that when going uphill, or even like in a high elevation place, like this is Colorado. I mean, with the high elevation, with the low, like, there's more or less power when you're up in a higher elevation area. So basically with the lack of torque because of the high elevation, the lack of power of horses and everything, Rocky just begins to slip backwards a little bit. And I'm going to show you a real quick clip here too, just because it's more information. Wait, do you want to step out and record? Stop. Oh, no. And as you can tell by that montage, it's very easy to let your vehicle slip backwards and drive, and it's not a good habit to do. And the reason why, I don't know exactly all the specs, but I've been given like an analogy. So basically there's basically bands in your transmission, and they're meant to shift gears basically as you're driving. Now, the bands in the transmission were not meant to handle going backwards while in drive, because it was meant to go forwards. Basically, you're stretching those bands like crazy when you slip backwards and drive. And what ends up happening is that your transmission starts to slip, and so you're going to experience a slipping transmission, basically meaning you have a prematurely broken down transmission. So in order to make sure that your vehicle does not slip backwards and drive, I'm going to go ahead and show you a really quick tutorial. Okay, so this is the downhill prevention for tip number 2. Basically, what you want to do, obviously, have the vehicle in drive, shift back to first gear, and this is good. Basically, what I'm doing right now is basically a mock start assist, or a hill start assist. So basically, I have my foot on the brake pedal, and then my foot not on the throttle, but it's almost ready to be there. So basically, you're going to treat it just like a manual. And if you know what a manual is, good for you. If you don't, you might want to look up a video or just wait until I probably show it on the tips rest of the section. Basically, foot on the brake, first gear, and slightly, there you go, and moving again. It's kind of a little jolt, but it's a lot better than slipping backwards a little bit and then moving. Trust me, I've learned my lesson. So yeah, you don't want to over rev it. Like, you don't want to hold the brake and over rev to 2000, because that will hurt your Jeep's torque converter, and that's not good. Anyways, let's go back to the tip video. So yeah, basically, in order to prevent the vehicle slipping backwards, you kind of want to treat the brake pedal and the accelerator kind of like a manual transmission. Like, the brake pedal is the clutch, the throttle is like your accelerator. So one on the clutch or brake pedal, whatever, and one on the throttle, and slowly just move it. Now, you don't want to over rev, like you don't want to charge, hold the brake pedal, then go. I mean, you could, but that's going to also cause wear to your torque converter, which also is not a good thing. It's not what you want. Sorry, I was just checking if this was still recording. This would suck if it wasn't recording. So yeah, make sure you do not let your vehicle slip backwards with a QuadraTrac 1 Jeep, because they are very prone to do that. All right, tip number 3. All right, tip number 3 kind of correlates with number 2. Momentum is your friend and your enemy. Now, the reason why I say it's a friend is because, number 1, momentum is what's going to get you up obstacles. I mean, with the low amount of torque you already have with the vehicle, momentum is going to be your key with getting over hills, rocks, obstacles, and you're just going to have to keep it at a steady pace. The vehicle at a steady pace when traveling up, stuff like that. And the reason why I say momentum is your worst enemy is because you're basically going to have to ride your brake pedal when going down hills, or basically anywhere where the vehicle just moves downwards by itself. And the reason why I say that is because, from personal experience, I went to this trail up in Colorado. It was all downhill. Like, we had to get back all the way downhill and rocky. I mean, I put her in first gear, but she just... It's a good amount of engine braking in first gear, but it's just not enough. I mean, not enough like in low range where there's just like a good amount of engine braking. You don't have to worry about anything, just literally steer. That's it. It does all the engine braking for you. But for QuadraTrac 1, even in first gear, it's just not enough engine braking. You're gonna have to brake. You're gonna have to ride your brakes. There's just no other way. So that's why momentum can be your good friend, because momentum is what will get you over obstacles. And it can also be your worst enemy, because flipping, have to ride the brakes and whatnot. All right, let's move on to tip 4. Such an early morning. Oh, crap, that's not good. Oh, that. Okay. So tip 4 is going to be pretty interesting. So, tip number 4 is try your absolute best not to lose traction across the whole axle, front and rear. That is QuadraTrac 1's weakness. That's what makes it a less reputable four-wheel drive system compared to QuadraTrac 2 and QuadraDrive 2. Now, as you all know, the 3.7 liter V6 QuadraTrac 1 Jeeps have what's called an NV140 transfer case. It's basically an open differential. It's a brainless transfer case, basically. It goes wherever there's like least resistance in the wheel, basically. And let me just go ahead and show you what I mean by a whole axle front and rear. I'm going to show you a little bit about what BLD does and what situations you are okay with getting stuck in. So, I'm going to go here first. If you lose one wheel, just all you know on the left or whatnot, you're fine. BLD will kick in. And if you don't know what that is, that's brake lock differential for the Jeep systems. It's where the brakes basically take over and stop wheel spin across an axle. And this situation, if it's in one wheel in the rear, you're still not stuck. If you have one whole side of the vehicle that's spinning like crazy, you're still not stuck because BLD will still kick in. If you flipping have some weird thingy going on where you lose one traction and one left wheel and one rear right wheel, you're still okay because BLD controls traction across an axle only, not a whole axle. And by that, a whole axle, front whole axle, you're stuck. Rear whole axle, you're stuck as well. However, I did want to go over something right here real quick, because there is a way to gain traction back if you lose just your rear whole axle. Let me just put this back real quick. Just kind of wanted to show you that real quick so y'all know what I'm saying. Okay. So, basically, if you lose traction in the whole rear, there is a way that you can use your emergency brake, and I've done it before. I'm just going to go ahead and show you a quick tutorial. I'll hop in and rock you real quick. Alright, so this demonstration is going to be how to use the parking brake to keep moving forward even though you've lost two wheels in the back. So basically, this is still in my garage. So obviously if you're off-roading, you're going to have first gear because that totally helps. Alright, so let's just pretend you're driving but you're stuck, you can't get anywhere. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your foot on the brake still, obviously. One click, as you can see the brake light just came on, so one click. And after that, I'm not going to drive right now because I'm in the flipping middle of my garage. But you're just going to press the accelerator and then just light throttle on the accelerator. Let go of the brake, but I'm not going to let go of the brake because I'm not going to crash into my garage. Press the throttle a little bit, and that should get the car moving a little bit. If it's still not moving and if you're still bogged down like crazy, second click helps. If not, third click. If not, fourth click, fifth click. All the way. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Just 1 to 3 clicks. If 1 to 3 clicks don't work, guess what that means? That means either your emergency brake is worn down or something's wrong with it, but your emergency brake, it'll save you if you lose 2 wheels in the back. So that's the tutorial. Remember, 1, 2, 1, 2, or 3, let go of the brake pedal, light throttle. Don't over rev it. Okay, let's go back to the video. So yeah, obviously, like mentioned, you don't want to have your parking brake all the way up. You just want to have it 1, 2, or 3 clicks, depending on how bad the traction loss is in the rear. And it'll basically propel you forward. And the only reason that you're able to use your emergency brake like that is because of the NV140 transfer case. Like I said, it's a brainless transfer case, quote, quote. And that's, you're basically able to manipulate it. If you can possibly manipulate it, it's manipulatable. Flipping heck. Okay. So yeah, emergency brake, light throttle. Don't smash it because you're gonna rip your emergency brake out of your flipping, I don't know. But yeah, don't do that. Just a little bit, you should be moving because I've done it before. All right. Tip number 5. Tip number 5 for how to off-road QuadraTrac 1, my personal tips. All right. Like I said, this is all based on personal preference, but tip number 5, turn traction control off-road. Turn traction control off when off-roading in snow and mud. Snow is a little contradictory, I want to say. If you're off-roading in snow for fun, like not daily driving in snow, you want to leave that on. I'll go ahead and explain. I gave tip 6 away. Anyways, if you're driving up snow banks, if you're like stupid and you like driving up at the mall, if you decide you don't want to go to a snowy trail and you just want to go nearby, park on snow banks with your friends, kind of like what I do. Ha ha ha. Yeah, you want to turn traction control off just because, sorry, I got a text message. All right, just because you want to be able to clear your treads on your tire. So you want more wheel spin. And that's applicable to mud too, because if you're driving in mud and mud is just collecting on the tires like big old boggy and stuff, you're going to have 0 traction. So turning traction control off, I know it might seem a little contradictory, but actually allows you to really clean your treads because the tire is spinning so quick. All the treads fly, all the mud flies off, all the snow flies off, and you have new fresh footprints basically when driving in mud. And so yeah, that's tip number 5. I'm going to teach you how to turn traction control off real quick for you people that don't know. Alright, so this is how you turn traction control off. Basically, you can do this in any gear, it doesn't have to be in first gear. You're going to go over to your panel over here. You're going to click the off switch. Click it once, you don't need to hold it or anything, at least for the Laredos or the 2005 models. You're going to see that this little light flicks and it says traction system disabled. So this is the button to turn off traction control. Number 5 is also very helpful for when you're stuck in snow, you wake up in the morning, you go to your Jeep, and you hear like ABS. You can hear the automatic braking system happening, you can hear traction control going off, BLD trying to do its stuff. Basically what you want to do in that situation, because I freaked out the first time that happened, like what is going on? You basically, number 1, turn the car off, turn it back on. Then you want to have your vehicle in first gear, turn traction control off, lightly press the accelerator and turn the wheel left and right. Make sure that nobody's behind you or in front of you when you do it. Afterwards, clear to go for QuadraTrac 1. If you're stuck in a snowbank or you woke up in the morning and your vehicle is stuck in some heavy snow. So that's what you do. That's what I do. I hope snow isn't as bad where you live, if you live in a snowy place. Colorado, it's pretty decent. But. All right, moving on to tip 6. Tip 6. Leave traction control on when off-road in dry conditions or driving regularly in snow. And The reason why I say that is because when you leave traction control on, it basically allows BLD or Jeep brake lock differential included in QuadraTrac 1 systems. And basically QuadraTrac 2, QuadraDrive I believe as well. But basically when leaving traction control on, it allows BLD to work more aggressively. And when you're off-roading in dry conditions, if you're like driving over rocks, you want BLD on, with traction control on, because you want brake pressure immediately on the spinning wheel, so that you keep moving forward in that one direction. And I'll show a real quick clip right now, just because it's a good analogy. So that's exactly what I mean right there. You don't want wheel spin at that time. You want no wheel spin at the time. So that's basically what leaving traction control on does. I'm going to show you real quick how to turn traction control on. Whippo way, wamba wappa, whippo way, wamba wamba, hooey, hooey, what the little on the dog, a pinda did do. Okay, that was a joke. So yeah, traction control is automatically on when you turn the vehicle on. I'm sorry. So, yeah, and like I was pointing out in tip 5, for tip 6, it says driving regularly in snow. Now the reason why I say that is because traction control in snow actually helps correct understeer and oversteer. So basically, if you're driving like this and then you make a turn and you start slipping, BLD will kick in and basically prevent you from oversteering or understeering. And sorry, that was oversteer, understeer. Basically, it'll prevent you from slipping on ice and snow. So you want to leave traction control on once you are driving regularly in snow. So you don't fishtail like crazy, you don't start slipping everywhere, you don't freak out the person with the Honda Accord behind you. So yeah, so those were my 6 tips, guys. I mean, it's probably not much. I mean, let me see how long I've recorded, 17 minutes? Alright, so yeah, these were my 6 tips. I don't know what else to say. There's probably more tips out there. If you're a viewer right now and you have more tips for off-roading techniques with QuadraTrac 1, feel free to link me to your video, to your channel, or if you're a guy on Jeep Forum, I really appreciate you guys. You can link me to your website or your forum. I don't mind that. And or if you just want to even leave comments on the comment section about how to off-road with QuadraTrac 1 that I didn't mention. It not only helps me as a QuadraTrac 1 owner, Rocky, but it also helps other QuadraTrac 1 Jeep owners out there as well. So like I said, this isn't just like the absolute tips. These are just my personal tips. I'm a Colorado driver. There's flipping trails every corner around here, and that's what I do. So yeah, remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Like I said, if you have any tips, more tips, just let me know. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. QuadraTrac 1 Jeep still kicks butt. Don't give up on it. And there is actually a way to install a center differential and 4-low. I'll explain that probably in another video. But anyways, like I mentioned already, probably 1,000 times, comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for the support. Rocky and I out.